Halftime Pizza and FightSaga.com proudly present WAWR Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer James Gogue.
Guys, welcome. Happy Sunday to all of you. And I tell you what, happy first game of the season in NFL football. And guys, this is going to be our new time slot, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific from this point forward for the rest of the year, because it's going to be, football season is upon us. And we don't want to start too late with Sunday night football, and we want to be able to finish before that game starts, especially tonight, because we're seeing the Dallas Cowboys take on the New York Giants. And guys, we missed last week, and we apologize for that, and that was largely because of my computer. Well, we have all that rectified, so now we get to visit with the boxing savant, the gentleman with the best eyes in the business, the incomparable Coach James Gogue. James, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing fine. It's a little slow in boxing right now, but there's always good stuff to talk about.
Well, and unfortunately, some bad stuff to talk about as well, and we'll get that out of the way. Because we want to end this show on a very positive note, and this has a potential of being very positive for the health of the sport. Guys, so stay tuned for that. Notice that Manny Pacquiao is indeed on the cover, and there's a very realistic possibility, or is it, Coach Gogue, just briefly, now what are the possibility of Manny Pacquiao? Once again, he stated that he's interested in representing the Philippines in this summer's Olympic Games in Paris, France.
Whew, that would be a big shot in the arm to amateur boxing, because nobody gives a shit about amateur boxing no more. It doesn't have mainstream appeal like it did in the past, where amateur boxing was on, mainstream networks like ABC, WAWR Sports, USA versus the World, or NBC when they used to show the Olympic trials, the Olympic box offs. But that's been, that's been damn near over 20 some years before. That was over probably 20 some years. The last time they showed amateur boxing on mainstream TV and everything. That's where you knew who the future stars of boxing were coming out. Where
that's right.
Back in amateur boxing days, they had when boxing had real talent coming out of the amateurs, you had some real stars, like, Floyd Mayweather. I knew him when he was an amateur. De La Hoya, Tyson, Holyfield. I seen them all come up through the amateurs. Yep. Roy Jones Jr. So you knew the level of skill and talent that was coming out of the amateurs. But nowadays, you don't see that, man. You see it's kind of like, second fiddle now compared to the guys in the past. See, Joe, the heavyweight division back then, the last great Olympic class came out in '96. They had an abundance of good young heavyweights turning pro. 2000, it started going downhill, and ever since 2000, the heavyweight division in amateur boxing has pretty much been in the toilet, and that pretty much, signifies what amateur boxing is about nowadays. Because if you don't have a next group of hot heavyweights coming up, a lot of mainstream fans, don't follow boxing unless back in the days they didn't follow boxing. The littler guys, they follow the big boys. Okay, yep. As the big boys division rolled, the heavyweights, so did boxing. But now, because the heavyweight division it sucks. There's only one or two good American heavyweights, Wilder and that Baby Miller coming up, and the rest.
Baby Anderson.
Oh, yes. Baby Anderson, not that juice, Baby Miller. Yeah, pretty much you don't see it.
And speaking of juice, I want to say a big shout out to my brother Juice in the queue. Look what we have here. Two of the most dedicated, knowledgeable men in the sport of boxing. Thank you, sir. Salute Mr. Heron and the legendary Coach James Gogue. Let's go Lions. I'll tell you what, spoke to my brother Sugar Hill, and he's excited that the Lions pulled off the improbable upset on Thursday night against the Super Bowl defending champion Chiefs. Great showing, and their defense really came through. Also, my brother Tyrese Bowie, Coach Gogue. Yep, what up? I agree with that wholeheartedly. He is, well, once again, he's got the best eyes within the boxing business. And also to my brother G Funky Boxing. And you're going to see him here tomorrow evening, hopefully. He's going to help me interview Mr. Rick Glazier and, well, help me conduct another episode of Fact or Fiction. But, guys, right now, well, speaking of Fact or Fiction, let's get right down to it.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Thank you, Floyd, with our first Fact or Fiction prognostication tonight. Coach Gogue, fact or fiction? Devin Haney will actually make Regis Vergrias look like easy work in December, but in front of only a crowd of 2,000 fans in San Francisco. Fact or fiction?
Man, it's hard to deal with Haney's speed, his cat quick counterpunching. It's hard to get a clean shot off on him. He's hittable. Okay, Shakir Stevenson is a lot harder, but because of his, this kid is blessed with, world-class athleticism and skills, footwork, fast hands, sharp jab. And it's going to be hard for a guy like Regis, who's a lot slower. Joe, speed kills in boxing, okay?
Yep.
All right. And it's hard to deal with a guy, with overall physical gifts, faster feet, better reflexes, quicker hands, sharper counter puncher. It's a tall order for Regis to overcome. And yeah.
Well, James, as we just saw in his last outing, which made him look very, very, amateurish, he still didn't understand the fine art of cutting out the ring and closing the distance proficiently. Is that going to be a problem in this, style matchup?
Sure. If he couldn't close the distance on that last guy he fought, this guy, oh, Jesus, man, it's going to be a lot tougher when you're fighting a guy with very, very quick feet, ability to move in and out, ability to move around you in circles at angles, and with that quick jab in his face too, and quick counters. That's going to make you hesitant. So, yeah, it's tall order for Regis.
Now, and once again, it exposes a couple of things, guys. And once again, inflated purses, it makes it virtually impossible to put together the best matchups. And look how long it's taken to put this nothing burger between two non-ticket sellers. Yeah, look how long it took to put together, and it's still not official. Although, according to Mike Coppinger of ESPN, he stated via Twitter, it's set for December 9th. Regis Vergrias versus Devin Haney for DAZN pay-per-view. And the fact that it's on DAZN pay-per-view, Coach, that just says it all now, doesn't it? Why would this be on pay-per-view out of necessity, sir?
These motherfuckers probably want too much money, and who gives a shit about the fight? Nobody cares about it. It doesn't have a lot of, appeal to it. It's going to be shown 2 weeks before Christmas. The worst time to promote a fight, the worst time to have a card is in December, because everybody is probably too broke this year because of inflation, and the money they do have, they're going to try to, spend it on the little Christmas presents they can afford. Yeah, it is such a joke, man. This fucking business, man. This guys ain't got no business on pay-per-view. Both of them guys.
Oh, boy. And, I wish I could say that this was the worst of the bad news, but it's not. Now, once again, this just exposes once again that Eddie Hearn still doesn't understand, the market in the U.S. market. So, once again, Devin Haney pretty much raised around boxers and boxing in Las Vegas. The boxing capital of the U.S., arguably the boxing capital of the world. Okay, and yet Eddie Hearn says, where are you from? Where were you born? Well, San Francisco. Well, that's exactly where we're going to put this fight. Make it a homecoming. How did the Regis Prograis homecoming, how did that fare in New Orleans in an area that he hasn't been in since Katrina?
Oh man! In order to build a fan base in your hometown, there's got to be consistency. You got to be consistently fighting there. Where you start from the ground up. When the 4 rounders, you plant the seeds, you cultivate and water the seeds. Then they grow up. Okay, they grow to be big trees that bear fruit. Okay, it takes time and it takes time. It takes years. It takes consistency fighting in your hometown. I should know. I learned it from Don Chargan back in the days when when he had 4 world champions back in the 80s and 90s. Man, I seen it firsthand that the consistency of building these guys from the grassroots into what do you call it? Hometown heroes, ticket sellers, world champions, television stars. And it's consistency. And he's never fought there before in his life. So, they have no familiarity with the motherfucker. And the other guy, they don't even know who he is. You know what I mean? Because he fights on the zone. Nobody watches that shit. So anyway, yeah, it's gonna be a complete bloodbath failure at the box office and at the what do you call it? Pay-per-views. And the zone is a big dummy for putting this fight on. Yeah.
Oh gosh, and look, an even bigger dummy, in the immortal words of Fred G. Sanford, you big dummy. Yeah, for paying almost $8 million combined purse for both Regis and Haney. And that's why this is on the zone pay-per-view out of necessity. Man, now, once again, even Don, he stopped putting cards in San Francisco, and I said, well, why? Well, you know what? It's just not a fight town anymore. He said, I think they have maybe 1 or 2 gyms. And that was before he passed away.
Yep.
Keep in mind, there hasn't been a substantial card in the Bay Area, San Francisco, in over 20 years.
When Andre Ward fought Kessler, I think that was the last one, I think.
Well, no, that was a lot. That was, 15 years ago, maybe? 12 years ago? 13, maybe?
I have no idea. They drew like 9,000, which is, it ain't much. 9,000, good crowd, but that, you know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what. In my opinion,
Joe. When I can't, Young Dick Tiger, I think against Bobo Olsen, they did 30,000 at that Kezar Stadium. I think Don told me back in the days when Don opened up the Oakland Coliseum with the Golden State Warriors played in, I think, 66 or whatever. He told me they did over 15,000 sold out. Yeah. That's when boxing. Andre Ward even walked up to Don one time at one of Don's shows in Sacramento. He walked up to Don. Don told me because we were talking on the phone. He goes, "Guess who walked up to me today to say hi?" I go, "Who?" He goes, "Andre Ward." I go, "Where'd you see him at?" He goes, "He came to my show." I go, "What did he say?" He came up to me. He goes, he came up to me, introduced himself. He says, "Sir," and he goes, "I'm glad to meet you." He goes, "Back in the days, I heard you were the man. I heard you ran Oakland and San Francisco. I heard you used to pack them in over there. They used to have great cards." Because, the old timers told him, and Virgil probably told him. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? It was when Don and Lorraine were doing shows over there. Oh, my God. It was, there was no TV and all over the Bay Area and in the South Bay, boy, Santa Clara, his hometown, all over. It would pack them in. You know what I mean? But, man, them days are over now. San Francisco used to be a fight town. Hey, Joe, I told you San Francisco Golden Gloves back in 82, the finals, there were 13,000 fans there. Yeah.
That was for an amateur show, guys.
Yeah.
Those days are long gone, though, now. Go ahead, sir.
When I fought 2 years later in the finals, there were over 5,000 fans that showed up. Yeah. Yeah, trip, man. Yeah. Now boxing is it's a third world country sport. You know what I mean?
Can't argue with that. But I tell you what, and so, guys, I just found out I'm going to be doing the commentary for another club show, regional show, at the classic Randy's Ballroom. Boy, I've even played there as a musician, and I've seen so many great concerts there. It's going to be a packed house, and we're expecting, well, because of some of the prospects that we're going to be featuring, October 8th, we're expecting over 4,000 fans. Guys, don't be shocked if we draw better than Devin Haney versus Regis Pagrias.
Is this Rick Moronis or the other?
This one is Rick Moronis, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Rick's a good hustler, promoter over there.
You know, the gab, and he hustles, and he's very good to the fighters. He pays them very well.
Oh, okay.
So he attracts a lot of talent. And once again, he subscribes because I introduced him to Don, and Don showed him the ropes. So he subscribes to the same ideology. He doesn't sign fighters. If they don't want to work with us, then we don't want to work with them. That's his ideology.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And once again, the rules of promotion in boxing are absolute. You don't fuck with the rules of boxing.
Yeah.
Okay. Something that Heyman still obviously hasn't learned, because we're going to shift gears now. We just found out, we got excited this past weekend for absolutely nothing. We just found out now that Frank Martin has indeed, after signing the contract to receive a career high payday.
He didn't sign the contract, Joe. He looked at the contract and called them the next day, passed on it. If he signed the contract, they would have held him to it. All right.
You know what? You're absolutely right. My apologies. So nonetheless, someone convinced him. My guess, it's either Heyman or his trainer, Derek James, to pass on a career high payday and an opportunity to fight Shakur Stevenson for the vacant WBC lightweight title. Coach Gogue.
It wasn't his trainer. Look, Joe, when you called me earlier in the week, you go, hey, they made the fight. What do you think? And I didn't want to say nothing. I said, we'll talk about it later. You know why, Joe? There was something in my head saying that this guy was going to turn it down. You know what I mean? There was something in my head saying, nah. I'm not going to go through with it. And I was right. I had that gut feeling.
Well, you always, your gut feeling is always like 99.9% accurate, Gogue. And once again, it's your experience and time spent in this business that tells you this. And once again, Don Chargan, now he always taught us, well, if you have a non-ticket seller, how's the only way you're going to increase his market value? You got to be involved in tough matchups.
Yeah, Joe, but the thing is, when you call me and I didn't want to answer it, I said, well, let's talk about it later. I had this feeling he was going to pull out because of the fact when you told me that this fight was going to get made, there was doubt in my head right off the bat. I started thinking about Heyman, Spence, and what's his name, and the fighter getting together, talking about it, and I could see them talking about, say, oh, this is not a good move for our career right now. That's what I was thinking, Joe, when I got off the phone with you. I saw all three of those guys in my head.
Okay, very good. And you're usually right on the money, as you were proven to be correct this time. So, Gogue, I'm going to ask you something, and be as frank as you possibly can. Not that you wouldn't be any other, not you would be any other way, right? Mm-hmm. But are they right? Is this, why would you pass if you're Frank Martin, non-ticket seller? This is the best opportunity that you've had for your career, an opportunity to become WBC lightweight champion. Is this not a good opportunity?
Joe, that just shows me they ain't got no faith in their guy, or he ain't got no faith in himself. He could beat Shakur, all right? Because if you really wanted to fight, don't blame Al. Al would have made it happen, okay? Al would have made it happen, man. If he really believed, like Fulton, he sent him to Japan, because Fulton wanted that. Fulton really wanted that fight. He said, "Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's pull the trigger." And if he really wanted this fight, Al would have pulled the trigger. So don't blame Al. Okay, he is an obstructionist in ways that there might be a better opportunity. We could fight Gervonta Davis and get a bigger payday and everything. Let's wait around. You know what I mean? This fight here is going to be tough for you to win. You start putting doubt in the motherfucker's head. And to me, once you start planting them doubts in his head, he don't think, it's right then and there. They're businessmen nowadays, fighters.
No,
okay.
Geez.
Yeah, and he ain't gonna have that confidence going into the fight. He could beat Shakir. I'm telling you, man. I know these motherfuckers, man. He doesn't have the faith or confidence in his abilities that he could think that he thinks he could be that he will beat Shakir. So and obviously Earl Spence, his promoter, Derek James, or whoever's in his brain trust. Let's skip it and let's try to get a bigger payday with what's his name. That Gervonta Tank Davis, if Tank gives him a shot. You know what I mean?
Gosh. And what's the possibility of that? Because once again, I can tell you for a fact that Steven Espinoza would not be interested in paying top dollar for Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin. And once again, it's not a matter of, well, how many tickets can you sell, Frank Martin? It's, can you sell one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, but to me, after that tough fight, he had that tough fight last time. They're thinking, nah, man, he's not good enough. They're thinking, I don't know, man. This guy is gonna be tough to beat. Deep down inside, they think he ain't got what it takes to beat a guy like Shakir. And I agree. You know what I mean? This guy would have lost to Shakir. He's good, he's skilled, but Shakir's on another level right now, man. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, it's always risk versus reward. I remember when Canelo was going to fight Floyd Mayweather, and once again, that was the biggest money fight outside of Mayweather-Pacquiao that you could have made in boxing, right? And the dilemma was, well, is this a fight that we can win? The senior advisor for Canelo and Golden Boy said, you know what? He can't win this fight. This is too soon for him, but he's not going to get embarrassed. He's not going to get knocked out. And you know what? It should teach him a lot about what he needs to add to his arsenal. And it did. And he became better for it. Gogue, in my opinion, I think they're making a huge mistake. Even if it's a fight that he could lose, and probably would. He's not going to get embarrassed, not going to get knocked out.
Joe, he's getting the opportunity to fight for the world fucking title. That's what you get in this business for. Okay, to get that opportunity to become world champion. And he's walking away, he's a fucking bitch. All right?
Yep.
He ain't got no balls. Frank Martin's a fucking bitch, straight up bitch. All right, he ain't got no balls. He ain't got no faith in himself. He ain't got no belief. He could talk all that shit he wants on all those social media. Oh man, man. Anytime, all that. Yeah. Motherfucker. Well, you had a chance. You talk the talk, but you can't walk the walk. He a straight up bitch. Nah, man. Look, Joe, I'm glad I came from the days of old school boxing back in the days where boxing was real. In the 80s, the last golden years of boxing, okay? The last time boxing was on mainstream, was a mainstream sport like the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball.
Yep.
And so I know, man, fighters would never turn down an opportunity to fight for their title because they knew it was so hard to get one, and it was so hard. Once you got that opportunity, it was hard to win a title. Back then, there was only 2 titles, not like nowadays. There's like I don't know how many, 20. I don't know. I lost count. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we've got a lot to go forward, and we're not finished with this topic.
Well, like I said, Joe, like I said, he has a chance to win the fucking title, and he just walks away with, man. That's always going to be a stain in his legacy for the rest of his career. It's just like Canelo walking away when he had a chance to fight Golovkin, for the big in his prime, and he walked away saying, nah. He just gave up his belt. Like, I ain't got no balls. I ain't got no confidence in myself. I don't think I could beat you, Golovkin. So have my belt,
Well, I tell you what, ain't that a shame? But we want to thank Khalid for joining us in this special Sunday night pregame, fight show with James Gogue. Says facts, Gogue. Frank Martin is 28 years old. He should have taken it. Ha ha. Now, once again, what are you waiting for? Why are you in this business? Chingao.
Yeah.
And Denise has the beat. It took Hagler so many years to get an opportunity. It took everyone so many years. Look at James Buddy McGirt. Look how many fights he had before he won his first world title.
Yeah, I remember Loretto Garza. Loretto Garza. He had to fight four former world champions to get his shot, and he had to beat the number one contender to get his opportunity. And they called him, and they gave him 17 days notice to fight for the title. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Fucking
And Bruce,
joke, these motherfuckers.
And Bruce has the beat. Well, the ghost is definitely living up to his name.
Yeah.
And also says, yep, Denise, Hagler never turned down one either.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for being here, Bruce. We always love your commentary in the chat, brother.
These fighters are businessmen nowadays, okay? They're not fighters, all right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're not fighters.
No. I like the way you describe them as, what do you call them? Entitled what?
Entitled bitches. That's all they are, man. You know, I knew Joe. I just knew it when you told me.
You did.
You told me, when you told me this fight was going to happen. I don't want to talk about it because I had this feeling in me, just popped up saying, man, they're going to turn it down.
Yep,
yeah.
You did. Well, I tell you what, and you're right, as well, you almost always are. You've only been incorrect twice since we've been doing this show on YouTube for the past 2.5 years. And Peter Von Arx want to welcome yes, love looks very good for the Packers, brother. Let's hope he ends the game. Well, I tell you what, it's over now, isn't it? The Packers game, I think they won, right? So anyway, we want to thank Peter for joining us on this this beautiful early evening show, as well as our brother Antonio Luna. Good afternoon, Warwick Radio family. Hope all is well. I missed you all. We missed you as well, brother. And I hope you're doing well in Long Beach, California. Thank you for joining us, my friend. Also, our sister Denise, thank you for joining us once again. We love you on the show. Also, my brother from Philly, congratulations. Your Eagles just stomped on that ass. Welcome you. Oh, wait a minute. You're a Cowboy fan, aren't you, Joseph? I think so, if I remember correctly. But anyway, we also want to thank Low Clarity for joining us. I'll bring boxing back. I talk to my friends' ears off all the time about it. Yes, sir. Hopefully you only mention the good things. Chihuahua. And there it is, guys. We want to thank all of you for joining us. And look, I will say this. So what's next for Frank Martin? Who cares? Once again, he's a non-ticket seller.
Fuck him. Straight up bitch. Fuck him. Enough talking about him.
Let's do it then. Let's shift gears, and we're going to talk about, oh boy, this press conference that just took place in Saudi Arabia. And no, it wasn't sponsored by the Prince and Skills Challenge. It was a different investor in Saudi Arabia. And, well, they're paying for top dollar Tyson Fury taking on Francis Ngannou. And, guys, we do have the reason why we're mentioning this. We have to clarify two things. A lot of people are saying, no, this is an exhibition. No, it's not. Well, it's not on BoxRec. That doesn't mean shit. BoxRec is a fucking site. Okay? It's a fan-driven website. That's it. It's not official. Oh, it's not official. Then why isn't it? Okay, shut up. Here it is. They can't exactly promote a fight in which they're claiming someone's going to sleep if it's a damn exhibition. It's going to be a 10-round non-title fight that's going to count towards both professional records. That's it. That's what I've been told, and that's it. How else are they going to produce or promote a fight between the supposed two baddest men on the planet, one of the hardest punchers versus one of the best, well, arguably the best heavyweight on the planet right now, and they're guaranteeing a knockout? How can they do that if it's an exhibition?
Yeah.
With 12 or 14 ounce gloves or whatever it is, you can't do it. Guys, that's the hook.
Do you use 12-ounce gloves?
No, exhibition. I'm referring to the last heavyweight exhibition that we saw, and that was Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr., in which they made a special 12-ounce glove for that matchup. When have you ever seen 12-ounce gloves, Gogue? Ever?
The max is 10.
That's it. And so that's what's usually called for in exhibitions. Guys, take it to the bank. This is not going to be an exhibition. They couldn't promote it otherwise. They would definitely not sell any pay-per-view units that way. It's going to count towards both professional records, but it's a non-title fight for 10 rounds. That's it. Take it to the bank, guys. I know this. I know this by speaking with one, George Warren, promoter of the event, as well as Javen Sugar Hill Stewart.
George Warren. Is it Frank Warren or George Warren?
George is his son.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. And there it is. No. It's not the Dubai title. It's a WBC Saudi title.
That's what it is?
Yep. That's it. And yeah, you have the beat. The WBC made a ceremonial belt for the show, but it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be in Riyadh.
As long as they get their percentage, they don't give a fuck.
Well, Francis Ngannou is making a career high payday of $8 million, right? Oh. And you could add up all of his UFC purses, and it still wouldn't even match the kind of money he's making for this affair. And from what I've been told, and it wasn't, specific numbers weren't given to me, but I'm assuming, and just from what I've been told in my conversation with Javen Sugar Hill Stewart, that he's probably making, well, over $40 million for this affair, Tyson Fury.
Holy shit, really?
Yep.
All right.
And
Javen is training him still.
Yes, sir. In fact, he wanted to make that statement, Tyson Fury, very loud and clear. Not only was Javen there in attendance, well, Tyson Fury was also wearing a trucker's hat that said sugar on the front of it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He said, look, it's all fan-driven nonsense that there's any kind of dissension within Team Fury. Sugar's my guy. We're 4-0 with 4 knockouts while he's been working with me. So
where are they training at, Joe?
They're going to be training half the time in Florida. The other half is going to be in the UK in the Tyson Fury gym, right? The Gypsy King gym.
Okay.
Right? So once again, he's going to be training Ergashev alongside Tyson Fury, as well as several of his other fighters, because it was just announced in November. We're going to get Ergashev versus, oh boy, Subriel Matias, a fighter that you're currently high on for the IBF 140-pound championship.
Let's talk about that.
You have a lot to say, and that's a great matchup.
Yeah, what happens is I talked to his trainer, Jay Nahar. They call him Panda. They train in the high altitude of Jiquipilco, Mexico, right outside Mexico City, 8,500 feet. That's Jay. What do you call it? Panda. Well, he's had 2 world champions this year. He Matias and Manuel. Is it Manuel Rodriguez, Joe? Is that his name?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the guy that he got knocked out by Inoue. Then he came back and won the title just recently. So Jay, a lot of people don't know who he is, but he's 2 champions in this year. He's not even being talked about being trainer of the year. It's fucking unbelievable, man. You know what I mean? So that just tells you the politics of boxing. And not only that, Joe, he also has William Zepeda and that southpaw, Kevin, I think it's Kevin Gonzalez from, the 122-pounder. And them guys are right, what's his name? The 22-pounder is going to be fighting MJ. What's that guy's name? That Uzbekistan
MJ Akhmadaliev.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting for an eliminator. And Zepeda, he's right there to fight for their title. So you're talking about 4 guys that that can possibly win titles. And this guy hasn't even been, what do you call it? Hasn't even been talked about in the media. Has one of the best trainers around now because of the politics of boxing, man. And to me, he should be nominated. And he's got Subriel up there right now. Subriel up there right now. He trains over there for 12 weeks over there in that high altitude, which gets him in that tremendous shape just to fight at that frantic pace, a high volume punch output that just wear you down, break it down. And what's that guy's name? Sugar's Hills guy?
Ergashev.
He's gonna get his ass whooped. All right.
Yeah, well, that explains a lot. That's why Subaru Matthias, well, he's a machine. He does not quit. He doesn't stop. And yeah, Sugar already understands this, and he understands his work's cut out for him.
What did Sugar say? That this guy's gonna be ready? Yeah, okay.
Well, best of luck to Sugar. His work's cut out for him, but it's going to be a great fight nonetheless, guys. It's taking place in November on Showtime. But I will say this here. This is.
So is it going to be November or October? I heard it was October 15th.
No, that was changed to the first weekend in November now.
Okay.
Well, according to Steven, anyway, he's the guy who pays the bills and gives them the dates.
Oh, so that would be your buddy Steven Espinosa.
Yep. And so Bruce, once again, we're not finished with Fury and Ngannou, guys, because we've got a lot to talk about. And I'm going to give you my, unfortunate prediction. If we're ever going to see Fury versus Usyk, right? Not getting a warm fuzzy now after speaking with Sugar. But he said this. Bruce says they're making a big deal of Ngannou having Mike Tyson as chief second and training him for this fight. Who the hell has Tyson ever trained? Gogue?
Yeah.
This now, once again, this is a stroke of genius when trying to promote this event. Having Mike Tyson there in the corner is this, but is he going to have any success in increasing the chances for a shocking Ngannou upset?
Ngannou, man. Tyson Fury could whoop him with one hand behind his back. Bitch slap him to death. All right. This guy, man.
Yeah, guys. And once again, look.
Hey, Joe, does Tyson still have a drink? Does Tyson still have a drinking problem?
No, he doesn't drink.
Oh, it don't matter. Tell him to get back on his drinking problem. He's still gonna whoop him.
So you're saying you could come in the ring with a Sunday morning hangover and it still won't matter?
Exactly.
Oh,
it don't matter.
Jeez. Well, I tell you what, to have any kind of success, to even land a clean shot, anything of consequence, he's going to need some assistance from Mr. Tyson Fury. I understand exactly what you're saying, but even then, it's still slim to none. But I tell you what, stroke of genius from Bob Arum. From what I understand, this was all Bob Arum's doing, getting Tyson Fury involved. Boy, I tell you what.
Involved.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mike Tyson involved to be in Francis Ngannou's corner.
Smart. I never thought about that, Joe. A smart move.
That's Bob Arum, brother. Once again, still the best in the business now, isn't he?
Is this going to be pay-per-view, Joe? Please, no.
It's going to be pay-per-view, sir. And so, once again, this is the sole reason, because it's October 28th. That was the original targeted date for Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis. This is why they thought the wiser to move this event off that date, because they didn't want to compete with Fury versus Ngannou.
You know what, Joe? I was going to say is, I don't know, pay-per-view on ESPN or what?
Yep, ESPN.
Oh, geez. During college football season, good luck.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I tell you what, my Longhorns pulled off the upset, beat the Alabama Crimson Tide yesterday. Looked very good.
Hey, Joe, one question I forgot to ask you. Where's that fight with Sabria's going to be at? Still in Minneapolis with Morrell?
In the Armory in Minneapolis, and I don't know if Morrell's still going to be on that card. We'll find out this Tuesday, because once again, my man Ronnie Shields, well, he's gone from COVID. Guys, he's completely survived COVID. He's doing much better. Can't wait to be on the show. I have to say this, though, guys. I have to give everyone an update, okay? Because everyone's been messaging me, asking me if Jermall Charlo has left Ronnie Shields to go work with Roy Jones Jr. Guys, no. No, he's working with Roy Jones because Roy Jones is one of the best mentors in boxing, trying to, well, instill some sense, some humility in Jermall Charlo. If you haven't heard, and once again, Ronnie Shields will expound on this, they actually had an intervention for Jermall. And he is now reconciled with his estranged wife of 2 years. He's back together with his wife and 5 kids. And he's taking Bible study. And he's training in the interim with Roy Jones Jr. But he is still with Ronnie Shields. That's going to be his head trainer till he retires. This is a gentleman who's trained him since he was a kid. Okay? He's not leaving Ronnie Shields.
Hey, Joe, my question is, golly, I was going to say is, Ronnie is not going to be fighting Morrell over there in Minneapolis. That's his hometown.
I know. I don't know yet. It's still on the bubble, and we'll see what happens. But here's the problem. They're having a hard time matching David Morrell Jr. up with anyone. He is viewed by everybody as being too much risk for the reward. Everyone's pulling a Frank Martin on him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what. Okay. I understand now. Okay.
Yeah, it's not for a lack of effort. Look, they originally wanted the Benavidez fight. Now, you know it's bad, and you know you're considered more risk than reward if Benavidez chooses to take a fight with Andrade instead.
Yeah. Businessman Benavidez. Okay. Yeah.
And once again, we're talking about a fight in November on Showtime pay-per-view, when just like Haney Prograis has no business being on pay-per-view. But I tell you what, compared to that one, yeah, Benavidez versus Andrade looks like, Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
But there it is. Guys, let's go to our main event of the evening. Once again, it was announced by Manny Pacquiao and my boy Brandon Walker. He captured this, while Manny Pacquiao was in attendance to view, Terrence Crawford, that ass stomping over Errol Spence Jr. He was in attendance. So my boy Brandon Walker caught this on video, said, "Hey, any news, Manny?" And he goes, "Yes, I'm going to be coming back." And he goes, "Holy shit." And he goes, "Against whom?" He goes, "You'll see." And this is it. Now, according to Sean Gibbons, his manager, president of Manny Pacquiao Promotions, he said, yep, Manny Pacquiao still the only thing left to accomplish, the only thing missing from his very impressive awards case is a medal in the Olympics. He desperately wants to represent his country in the Olympics. He says 100% under the right circumstances, Manny desperately wants to compete. It's always been a dream of his to represent his beloved Philippines in the Olympics. He never had a chance because at 16, his family was dead broke and he needed to turn professional to help everyone. Yeah. Now that they're allowing professional fighters to compete in the Olympic Games, this is his last opportunity and he desperately wants it. Coach Gogue, one, how's he going to be able to do this without having to compete in the box office and things like that? And two, what does this potentially mean for our beloved boxing?
Well, it'll be a big shot in the arm for amateur boxing. Oh yeah, because Olympic time, they're always looking for good stories. And Manny Pacquiao, international star, everybody knows who the fuck he is. Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. All of a sudden, he's in the Olympics fighting as an amateur, representing the Philippines. Oh man, it's gonna give a lot of. Well, he'll get the press, okay. All the motherfuckers won't get shit, but he'll get the fucking mainstream. I mean, what do you call it, Joe? The mainstream slots.
Yep.
Everybody else will be shown. Everybody else fights will be shown replays or whatever. But he'll get a live media. TV spots. Now how old is he now? 44, 45?
Yes, sir.
Holy shit, man. Come on. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
what does he have left? And he's only going 3 rounds, okay? Totally different from a pro fight where you go 12 rounds, okay? Some
Yep.
some good pros that don't get warmed up after 3 or 4 rounds, then they started coming on. So Manny's gonna, Manny usually starts fast and from start to finish, high volume punch output, footwork in and out, moving in and out of range, moving in circles, moving in angles, and volumes of combinations.
Mm-hmm.
Does he still have it? But he's only going 3 rounds now, Joe. He's not going, a 12-round title fight. So and he hasn't fought since he lost to Ugas. So,
Yeah.
But that ain't gonna matter, man. Joe, look, it's only a 3-round fight, okay?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Well,
and they're wearing 10-ounce gloves. Okay.
Yep, that's right. I will say this. Manny Pacquiao, he's right now 44, but he's turning 45 in December. He's going to be 45 by the time the Olympiad starts. Okay.
Holy shit. And what has Manny Pacquiao been doing since his last Ugas fight, too, Joe? As you've been,
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, when I don't now, I'm sure he's far from fight shape, but when the interview that Brandon did, and once again, it's up on 210 Boxing, right? Go subscribe to my brother Brandon Walker, who's going to be featured this week coming up on Thursday. But he looked to be in very good shape. Now, once again, that's a far cry from fight shape, which he's going to have to be in to compete against all of these amateur standouts. And keep in mind, Gogue, now that they're allowing professionals, okay, to compete in the Olympics, well, what's to stop a guy like Jaron Boots Ennis from competing?
Money. You ain't gonna pay him. Fuck it. Even if he would,
and once again, that's hilarious. But and you're right. But you know what? What happened to the pride and the opportunity in representing your country and with all eyeballs on you, the entire world? He's not going to get that opportunity anywhere else.
Joe, you think they're going to give him a mainstream spot? Jaron Boots Ennis, they'll do it for Pacquiao, but they won't do it for Boots Ennis, okay? Boots Ennis, all right?
Well, I tell you what, the truth serum always prevails on this show with Gogue.
Joe, they would rather show ping pong or rollerblading than that motherfucker on Olympic, primetime spot. Women's gymnastics, all right, Joe? Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Hey, Joe, boxing is a red light district in Olympic sports because of all the corruption they've had in the past. All right.
Yep. Well, come on, guys. Come on. Look, like gymnastics there was never a questionable scorecard in gymnastics or figure skating or any other Olympic event.
Yeah, but the judges, they're not known to take bribes and rip fighters off intentionally. Okay. The judges in amateur boxing.
I will say this.
And all that shit.
Well, I will say this. Let's just pray that NBC doesn't hire, once again, Teddy Atlas to cover these games. Chingao. Because that's the last thing we need is for Teddy Atlas to scream robbery, corruption. Kiss my ass, Teddy.
Hey, Joe. Dude. The last Olympics, they were in Japan a year later, 2021. I don't even... They show boxing, but god dang, it was like 2-3 in the morning. I mean, who the fuck was staying up to watch that shit? Yeah.
Very few, my friend. Okay. But I tell you what, hopefully, once again, like you stated, if Manny Pacquiao does represent his beloved Philippines, let's hope that all eyes and he gets a primetime slot on American primetime TV. Let's hope. But once again, let's hope that they get someone else besides terrible Teddy Atlas to actually shit on, his... Now, once again, I can't stand it because Teddy is now a UFC guy. He's found a home at UFC, right?
What do you mean, Joe?
No, he's now become a huge UFC advocate and is one of the, big names commentators for ESPN. I think it's for ESPN on UFC, regarding UFC.
I didn't know that.
He's turned into a UFC shill. So now He's bad-mouthing the sport of boxing, saying it's corrupt, it's terrible, and he's an advocate for Dana White, who is, well, the biggest culprit of exploiting talent, paying on average 13%. So this is who Teddy is championing? Kiss my ass, Teddy.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, Team Batman has the beat. Thank you for joining us, sir.
I like Teddy, though. I like Teddy, though. He's I think he's a very good analyst. He has, he brings some good points in, enlightens a lot of fans that don't know shit about the sport.
Yeah, but you know what? It's all a race when he starts making absurd claims of corruption and robbery. It's horseshit. And that's why he was fired from, well, basically doing commentary from ESPN on any boxing event.
Yeah.
And there it is. Want to give a big shout out to my brother Jesus M. Saludos to you, brother. And also my brother Pound. Salute Joe and Coach Gogue. Salute to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. And guys, it's almost kickoff time for the Cowboys and the Giants. Chingao, guys. I'm going to be dialed into this. And I tell you what, Coach Gogue, what does this mean for our beloved boxing? Now that we have college football season begun, NFL season begun, what does that mean for boxing?
That means nobody's going to give a shit about it, and there's not going to be a lot of big fights. Canelo, with the exception of Canelo, Charlo, there's not going to be a lot of big fights till football season's over with. They'll show fights on Showtime or ESPN, on a Friday nights and everything. Because they got contract dates to to do shows. But as far as the big fights that get the mainstream's attention, there ain't gonna be none during football season because football rules, baby. Yeah, football is king in the United States.
Yeah, well, Platinum, want to welcome you to the show, and Platinum Fights always is very insightful, very knowledgeable fan. Thank you for being here, sir. He says, I agree with the most of what you're saying, but how much was Martin getting paid? Well, I can tell you this. It was a career high payday. I wasn't disclosed. It wasn't disclosed how much, but it was acknowledged that it was a career high payday.
Look,
but most importantly, he turned down the opportunity to fight for an elusive major world title, the WBC Lightweight Championship.
The motherfucker has like I said, Loretto Garza, the first champion I got to work with when I was a rookie trainer back in the days. It took him he had to fight. He had to beat 4 former world champions. He had to beat the number 1 contender, and they still wouldn't give him a shot. All of a sudden, he got his opportunity because he got his opportunity to fight Juan Koji because Koji's opponent fell out, and they gave him 17 days notice, and he got $40,000 for the fight, and he jumped on it. And he told me the reason he jumped on it. He says, if I didn't take it, James, I don't think I would have never got that opportunity to fight for the title.
There it is.
Fucking Frank Martin. Fuck you, Frank Martin. You straight up bitch. You know what I mean?
Couldn't have said anything myself.
He ruins. What do you call it? Joe? Give me a word. The definition of what boxing. He ruined he's ruining the what do you call it? The mystique of what a fighter that wants to be a champion. Okay.
Look, guys, we don't watch these fighters tangle in the ring because of how much they're making. Fans want to be inspired. We want to see someone in the greatest shape of his life get up for an event to fight for a ribbon, so to speak. But we want to see someone walk through fire for a trinket. That's what inspires fight fans. Not holding out for some fucking bag. Chingao.
Joe, he's destroying the meaning of what a real fighter is.
That's it.
Well, it's not only him, it's this whole generation of bitches nowadays, man. They're businessmen. There's not all of them are, but there's, the guys like Matias, that's a real fighter. You know what I mean? That motherfucker's a real fighter, okay?
Oh, but,
he's fearless. But guys, guys like this that are, would have been a great matchup, intriguing
Yep.
matchup. You know, Frank
Sure would have been.
Frank
Yep.
Markin against Shakir Stevens. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's answer this. Is there any truth to the rumor that Al said no to the fight because he wants Frank to fight Tank Davis? No, 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 and no. Once again, what would Floyd say about a potential matchup between his man, Gervonta Davis, and Frank Martin? What would he say?
He'll probably, you know, honestly, Joe, they're all in the same league. You know, that they're on that side. They're all on that same side of the street. You know, that's easier to make fights nowadays when when they're in house.
Yeah, but Frank Martin can't sell out my living room on a Saturday night. And look, according to Floyd, if it doesn't make dollars, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but Joe,
that's it.
Isaac Cruz, what do they do? What, 50,000, 38,000 pay-per-views?
Yeah, well, in my opinion, that was probably largely because they put it on Sunday like a bunch of idiots. Okay, at the same time as Sunday Night Football for free.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They're not going to make that mistake again.
Yeah.
And the only reason why they put it on Sunday, because it was the very next Showtime pay-per-view after the exhibition, Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. That was held on Sunday. But that was once again in the middle of summer before football season began. I've spoken with Steven about that, and they're not going to make that mistake again.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? So once again, let's end this on a high note. Antonio Luna brings up Inoue versus Marlon Tapales, a Manny Pacquiao fighter, in December. And thank you, ESPN. It's going to be televised on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Now, let me ask you something. This is a unification bout. This is for all the marbles. Now, once again, guys, to remind all of you, Marlon Tapales was the gentleman who pulled off the upset over fat-ass MJ Akhmadaliev, a gentleman who ballooned up, I guess, nicely, 45, 50 pounds in between fights. All right? So basically his camp with his trainer was, in essence, a fat camp. That's why he was outworked and beaten decisively against by Marlon Tapales. So in your mind, does Naoya Inoue, the monster, have anything to worry about against Marlon Tapales in your mind?
He's strong. He's rugged. He's physical. He's tough, but he could get hit. All right. So, and if you could get hit by Inoue, okay, you ain't gonna have much of a chance.
Oh, woo! I tell you what. Yep. I tell you what. This was also in the news, and we have to cut this to. We're only going to be on for a couple more minutes, but Teofimo, that's a real fighter as well. You know what, brother? He proved everyone wrong. Well, except for my boy James Gogue, who actually predicted him pulling off the mild upset against, Josh Taylor. And Coach Gogue explained exactly how it was going to happen. But he's been in the news lately because the WBO, he and Bob Arum, as well as his manager, Dave McWatters, applied to, be elevated to a WBO super champion at 140 pounds. To have more options in between facing mandatory challengers. So now, according to the bylaws, he has up to 16 months before he has to face a mandatory challenger. Coach Gogue, what is that saying? Why are they petitioning for this? Is he going to be facing? Rumor has it he's going to be taking on Ryan Garcia, possibly in the early part of next year on DAZN.
When I see it, I'll believe it.
You don't think Ryan Garcia would take that fight?
I'll believe it when I see it.
Very well said. I'll tell you what I say then. It's robbery, corruption.
Yeah. Well, we got the Cowboy game going on, Joe. So let's get ready, baby.
Here it is, brother. And once again, we want to thank everyone for joining us. Okay, last fact or fiction, and we're going to end this, and we're going to pick it up with Rick Glazier tomorrow. But last Factor Fiction, Gogue.
Hey,
here we go.
We ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for Fact or Fiction.
With everything that you know, and I've told you behind the scenes, Gogue, do we ever see Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk for the unified heavyweight championship of the world?
If they give him, if one of them Saudi guys gives him 50 oil wells, yeah, and gives Usyk 50 oil wells, yeah, it'll happen, man. Money, baby. It's all about money.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to have to look for another investor because, well, it doesn't look like the Prince and Skills Challenge are a player within our beloved boxing any further.
Why?
Guys,
what happened? They got the fuck out?
Well, I'm going to leave you guys with a cliffhanger because it's doubtful now that they're going to be coming through with the money for any of these proposed heavyweight matchups. Leaving everyone, well, holding the bag. And there it is. We're going to pick it up. We're going to pick up where we left off tomorrow evening. Now, once again, guys, because of Rick Glazier's a huge Buffalo Bills fan, we're going to have to present you guys with this show early. Now, it's going to have to be at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. And it's going to take place tomorrow, guys, with Big Rick Glazier and my brother G Funky Boxing. But, guys, Coach, do you have any parting shots for our listening audience tonight?
Football season's here. It's going to slow down. Boxing, they got a few good ones coming up. I can't think of them. Canelo, number one. That Matias fight I mentioned. That Sabril Matias fight. That's the only ones I could think of. The others.
Hey, don't forget about next or later this month on the 23rd. Don't forget, it's Joe Joyce versus your favorite big Chinaman.
Oh, yeah.
Zhilei Zhang. Yep, in a rematch. I can't wait to see that. But, guys, we'll pick up where we left off tomorrow evening with Big Rick Glazier. But, guys, on behalf of the boxing savant, the great James Gogue, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to War Week Radio. Have a great evening, everybody.
Halftime Pizza and FightSaga.com proudly present War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer James Gogue.